Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to what is now the penultimate round here at FRL for the Season 10 100% Formula 1 season at a very, very wet Barcelona / Spain. I expect there's going to be quite a few safety cars during this race, as if you don't remember, Netherlands wasn't that wet. I think that was the 8th round, because it was Hungary after, which I couldn't do. But I think it was the 8th round. And I think there was a total of 8 safety cars for the entire race. There is a few new names. We have went past one-shot qualifying due to a bit of an issue that I had occurred, but now it should all be sorted and everything should be in flying colours. We do now wait to go green here for the penultimate round of the season. In terms of what we saw in lap times, it did seem quite spaced out in qualifying. Not many cars with a close proximity of each other in terms of the laps, but we do go green here as we go up for 5 red light shitters. Now we do see it's actually still waiting for players, but we go here a very, very wet Spain here for the penultimate race of the season. As you can barely see anything there, but we do see Bids gets quite a good start there, trying to take off the line pretty quickly, going on board here now with Brand and P4 being able to keep it there, but hopefully Everett gets through pretty nicely. It does seem Everett does get through quite nicely there. We do see there's actually a spin there. I'm not sure who that is. That seems to be the McLaren there of Liam MCL 16. Unfortunately, it does seem both full-time McLaren drivers aren't here for tonight, so we do have 2 substitutes, but we do see there was nearly a pit move there from Brandt trying to pit maneuver Josh Rose, not on purpose obviously, but it does look to go for a move down the inside of turn 5. It does seem Josh Rose makes a tiny bit of a mistake there, which does allow Brandt back by 4 P3, but we do see that is a yellow flag. Not sure what's happening back there, but if we go further and further back now, we do see it's now going to be, once again, Kevin against Pipple Snack, the new McLaren reserve driver, just behind him in P11. Still being able to defend after that, but we can see Kevin going into the wall there. I'm not sure if that's going to be a safety car there, but it does seem he was able to save his car. Is he going to have a front wing now? It's going to be off in the gravel trap there going into turn 8 before the DRS zone, but DRS will not be present during this race because I believe it is going to be a full wet ratio, but it's sector 2 and 3 flag there. But we do see Bids starting to create a bit of a gap for himself now, with about a 6/10 gap, you could say, now to Jack Jones behind him in that Ferrari there. But going further down there, Bids being able to set the fastest lap time of that 1:32.667, which is probably going to get faster and faster when we get cleaner air for all of the drivers here. But going on board with P11, this is going to be where Di Miles is trying to get by. No, it's the other way around. Finn trying to get by Di Miles, which he does successfully, going into the start finish straight before turn 1, but we can see any sort of retaliation here from Di Miles? It doesn't seem he's able to catch up there with Finn in that Alfa Romeo, but going further up as well, that is going to be what is going to be Pipple Snack, seeming to lose a few positions there. I'm not sure who that was. It does seem to be Swinney going for a move once again, going into turn 4. It doesn't seem he's going to go for it though. Into turn 5, he is just going to have to hold off, but we can actually, because he's held off there, he's actually left the door open there going into turn 5. And now it's going to be side by side here with Swinney and Don Fotherington, the Alpha Tauri, and that's going to be the Red Bull now going into turn 7. Still side by side with each other. It seems he might have a tiny bit of an understeer moment there, which you can see. Due to that wet conditions, you won't have the max speed going through the corners that you will do, and that has now unfortunately allowed their Finn to get past as well, going into turn 7. Going into turn 8 now, it does seem he's struggling for a bit of traction now, going into the final few corners. Catches up quite a significant amount there on Finn, going into the final few corners. You can see there is a new fastest lap from Brown by 1:28.227. That is a yellow flag. Unfortunately, I'm not sure who that is. I can't really check, as it's going to be a virtual safety car though, so I'm assuming someone has lost their wing. If you go on board with the top 20, that is going to be Di Miles. It seems he's stuck in the gravel trap, or is he lost it? What has happened here? Is his car stuck on the wall? He's been disqualified, so it doesn't matter, but I'm not sure what's happened with him. We can't really check either, because we only have 2 limited camera angles, and that's that and that. But that is going to be him disqualified from the session. That's going to be our first retirement of this session going into lap 3. So I'm surprised we didn't have a lap 1 safety car, but luckily a virtual safety car is only a few sectors long, so hopefully we will be going back green. As we can see now, Bids being able to still keep the lead. There wasn't much of a gap being able to decrease there between him and Jack Jones, which is going to also cause that's going to be Sausage Joe there in the Haas spinning at turn 7, I believe, and it does seem he's struggling there. I feel like he might have overheated his tyres, and that's why he is struggling to keep that car in a straight line. Now going on to the second DRS zone off the back straight. He is back up and running. He has lost a lot of positions though because of that scandal that we did just see. We're going further down. We do see it is going to be Nick F1 there in the Williams, or the top scoring Williams at the moment, as his unfortunate teammate has been disqualified from the session. As we have seen, he hasn't had the strongest of seasons there, Di Mars. Unfortunately, it's not going to be any sort of redemption arc here for him today, as we do see the first person going into the picture is going to be Purple Snack. Not sure why. It doesn't seem he has any damage to his front wing to my knowledge, unless he has some sort of side pod damage, which he can't really fix in pits. But he is doing, I think he might have a drive-through penalty at this rate, as he has just have to driven through the pit. So I assume he had that drive-through penalty that we didn't see. But if that's the case, then that is going to drop him down significantly, as well as we do see Mafandrew there as well coming out of the pits. And we did also see Miniman Moody as well just driving through the pits. I'm not sure what that was about. We didn't see any sort of penalty coming up there, but I'm assuming it's something to be speeding under the virtual safety car, because that seems to be quite a common penalty here in F1. But we do see Bid still struggling to actually still create a gap. It does seem Jack Jones has started to put the pedal to the metal a tiny bit, and still being able to maintain about a 5 to 6 temp gap between them both, but it doesn't seem he's going to be able to get close enough just yet. So as we do see Bran, who nearly went off there going into turn 8, going into turn 9. Now he is still able to maintain P3, which is currently the top scoring position that he has been in this season, I believe. Going to lap 5 now, as well as that we do see William Talbot actually getting the move done here on Finn for P8 there, as well as we can see Specky Cabbage actually trying to get involved with this, as well as some of the rest of the grid. It doesn't seem there's much more battling going on at this time being, but hopefully with the start-finish straight, the slipstream can be somewhat of a beneficial tool here for the drivers. As we can see, he's actually getting quite a good overspeed here, Finn, on William Talbot going into turn 1, but it's not going to be close enough for him to actually try to retaliate and regain his P8, so he has to just tuck behind once again there. But that's going to be William Talbot spinning. Does he keep the car at the moment? I'm not sure. That is going to see him losing quite a few positions. He's still not back up and running. He's in the middle of the track there. Luckily, ghosting is something that is present in this game, which you don't see in much sim racing games at all anymore, which I do think it's half a blessing, but also it's kind of half a curse as well, because it's not really realistic, obviously. But we do see now Jack Jones in that Ferrari all over the rear of Bitch here going into turn 8 on the back straight. He looks like he's trying to go for the outside line there. He nearly got on the grass there. That would have been lethal there for the Ferrari, but there's going to be a tiny bit of contact there. He needs to be very, very careful of his front wing there for Jack Jones. But this is going to see who determines practically potentially the rest of the race, because whoever's able to pull away next, because it does seem Jack Jones's pace at the moment is pretty strong compared to Bids. Bids is seeming to be a bit more consistent compared to Jack Jones at the moment. There he comes across the line, both of them. Doesn't seem anyone's going to be able to set the fastest lap this time around. As well as that overspeed from Jack Jones, it's going to be quite crucial there. But we do see as well P14 and 15 both battling with each other, going side by side there into turn 9. There's a bit of contact between them both there. That is going to be Purple Snack losing the position there till Meals SP 2002 in that Ferrari. And now going through the final corner, we will see it's going to be quite close there, so potentially we might see some sort of retaliation here from Purple Snack in that McLaren entirely. William Talbot off into the pits there to potentially change his tyres early. I'm not sure, as everyone seems to be on, well, relatively similar tyres. In fact, everyone is on the same tyres, apart from what seems to be the bottom 4 at the moment. William Talbot's paying for brand new tyres, so just 0 laps to his tyre age at the moment. But we also see as well is going to be Cryplax. No, it's not going to be Cryplax, so it's going to be Specky Cabbage and Sausage Joe, both for position. It does seem he was able to get by pretty easy there going into turn 5, and now we just have to see if he's able to retaliate there. Specky Cabbage at the moment, it doesn't seem he's going to be able to. Nearly coming on to the 6th, 7th lap of this race now, it seems. Starting to die off a tiny bit, but what isn't dying off so far is Purple Snack on Mills SP. Into turn 8. Well, tries to attempt to brake a bit later, but I don't think that has actually helped him out at all. It seems braking a tiny bit later has lost him a lot of time there, but now going into turn 9. Gained quite a bit of time there. On entry, can he keep on exit? No, he cannot. Going into the final 2 corners of turn 10 and 11. No, he does actually get quite a significant exit there from McLaren. Slipstream is going to be a huge factor in this overtake, as we do see it's going to try and go side by side here going into turn 1. He just backs off though, but he's actually going to try to do it under braking. He does have the inside line, which is going to be a very, very high advantage there for the McLaren, but obviously it's a chicane, so Mills SP will have the inside line into the second part of the chicane, but it does seem that SP was able to maintain his position of P13 for the time being. Going into turn 4 now. Able to keep it up for how long? At the moment, it doesn't seem he's actually going to be able to catch up at all at the moment. McLaren making a few mistakes there, as well as we did just see Mills SP making quite a torrential mistake there, almost losing him the race as well. But we do actually see the 2 leaders at the moment are fighting. It is going to be Bids and Jack Jones once again, both all under pressure with each other, but I'm assuming Bids is probably going to be feeling the most about the pressure leading this race at the moment in that Aston Martin 7 lap old wet tyres. I would like to see it dry up at least some point during the race, but I don't think we will see that, because people in the Discord were saying it is a full wet race, which isn't great, because I do like to see the DRS, because the DRS does conclude the race quite nicely as well. But we do see that it's going to be now Kevin actually being able to get a move done on Mafandro. I'm not sure what happened there. I'm assuming Mafandro made a tiny bit of a mistake, which has caused this battle to conclude quite quickly. So as that, I do see there is a yellow flag. Not sure what the yellow flag is. Is it going to be... I'm not sure who it is. It's going to be Finn spinning that into turn 5. I believe it seems he's also overheated his tire, so he's going to have a bit of a difficult time now to try and keep that in a straight line. Does seem he's back up and going. We'll go into turn 6 now. On board with him. Is he going to struggle? Hopefully the wetness of the track so far will cool down those tires at a significant rate compared to what we would see on a dry circuit. As well as that, we do actually see as well the other McLaren once again on Mills SP. These two have been at it for quite some time now, as well as the leader, as we can see both of those battles going on at the same time. We do see now going into turn 8, he tries to brake a tiny bit later than Mills SP to try and catch him off guard. It didn't seem to have worked there for himself. It is going to be him just losing a tiny bit of time. They're going through sector 3. Going to have to try, as we do see there was almost a bit of a Wi-Fi bug there. Losing quite a bit of time there, unfortunately, going into the final 2 corners. Hopefully he might be able to catch up on under that slipstream going into turn 1, but it doesn't seem he actually is. It seems Mills actually might have been able to break the slipstream there into the start-finish straight, which is going to be a huge advantage here for him. But we do see as well Don Fotherington actually losing the position to Swick Cabbage. It does seem he is losing quite a bit of time there already in just about 2 corners. So I'm not sure what happened. I'm assuming there was a tiny bit of a mistake. But we do actually see the top 3 starting to create a tiny bit of a train with each other, which is going to make the lead of this race a tiny bit unpredictable. As well as does seem McLaren getting a tiny bit of a traction issue there, but managed to contain his car. As well as that going into P9, it does seem we are going to see a significant overspeed there from Sausage Joe going into the final corner. I did see there was a yellow flag there. It does seem to have been concluded pretty quickly. So we do go back into racing. So we've only seen 1 safety car this entire race so far, and that has only been a virtual safety car, so it has been a relatively clean race so far. If that is going to be the same for the rest of the race, we'll have to find out, obviously. But Sausage Joe now in that has all over the rear of Don Farrington going into turn 4. Is he going to try brake a tiny bit later to try and gain a tiny bit of time on the braking? No, he's not, but he does gain quite a bit of time on exit there, as we can see. Almost goes too wide off the track there, but he brakes a bit later going into turn 5. There's going to be contact there between the both. Sausage Joe, unfortunately, having contact with the side of Don Fotherington, that is going to lose him so much time on tyre quality, unfortunately, between them both, and that might be a tiny bit of damage to the side pod of Don Fotherington. Sausage Joe still being able to maintain the same position, but he's going to be under a tiny bit of pressure now from Cryflux behind him in the Alpine, instead of putting pressure on Don Fotherington. It's Leah being the first one to be awarded a penalty here today, with a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. You do see quite a few fluctuating red flags here, so I assume Liam might have had a tiny bit of a rage quit moment. Fortunately, they're DNFing from the races. We did see a tiny bit of a big moment there from Sausage Joe going into turn 9. So with that now going back on board with the leader, these two are still fighting with each other at quite a significant rate going into turn 4. Overcorrected car almost a tiny bit there. Jack Jones does seem he gets pretty much maximizing all of the track there on the left coming out of turn 4. Can be a bit sketchy there, because I'm not sure how good F1 grass is compared to some other sims, because I know sims such as iRacing and Automobilista 2 are horrendous when it comes to grass physics. Not sure if it's the same with F1 though, but it's obviously wet grass, so it is still going to be very, very slippery if you get on board of that, and you could probably get dragged out. As well as what we can see is, again, Purple Snack, the only lasting McLaren left on track. So do you see that's going to be Mafandro? Why is Mafandro retired from the session? I'm not sure what's happened there, but that is going to be Mafandro, unfortunately, retiring from the session. It doesn't seem to have been the safety car just yet. So I'm starting to think it might be something to do on outer pit lane experience. It does seem he has got those new tyres, so I'm assuming he might have had a penalty coming out of pits, which has unfortunately concluded him to finish his race early. As well as that, Purple Snack still all over the rear of Miz SP, but still not going to be enough. There's only about a few battles actually starting to happen, but it is going to be still these three with each other. It does seem Bid starting to create a tiny bit of a gap in himself going into the 12th lap here, but as there's been so much battling between them both, it does seem it's actually going to be, now that's going to be me and my mate to get a 3-second time penalty for track limits there. That is the first one we've seen today, which I'm a bit surprised about, but it is going to be now Jack Jones under pressure from Brand because of how much he's battled there with Bids, and now has actually caused the gap between him and Brand to go down significantly. Start now going on to the slipstream here. It does seem the overspeed of Swinney's car there is absolutely immense going into turn 1, as it does seem Purple Snack has no chance of trying to catch back up with Swinney going into turn 1, but he might be able to try to do it under corners. So it does seem there's a bit of a moment there from Swinney, which is going to lose him quite a bit of time there till to Mills SP ahead, which is going to be a bit of a big break here for Mills SP, because now Swinney's going to be under pressure and Purple Snack has to try and attack Swinney back for position, so that is going to be something we need to consider. So Mills SP might be able to actually catch up with the rest of the field. He's definitely has a bit of a task ahead of himself, with 11 seconds to catch up to Finn, and then if he gets past Finn, it's a 10-second and will only go up with them both battling. So do you see a lot of a moment there from Swinney as well, as Purple Snack going through turn 6. As well as that, it does seem it's going to be, as well, that's going to be Meanwhile Moody, unfortunately losing the race as well, retiring early, and that's going to be our 4th retirement in 12 laps, it seems. We're getting very close to each other. It does seem like Kevin gets a really, really good exit compared to these two, and it does seem these two ahead of each other is going to go side by side, but we do see as well Kevin might try to go free wide going into the start-finish straight. He's going to have the overspeed, but is it going to have enough time at the moment? Doesn't seem so, as we do see William Talbot still getting the inside line. And what the hell? There's a car on the right there just going absolutely stationary. I'm not sure who that was, but that was a very, very dangerous moment, to say the least. But William Talbot still able to gain his position of P14, now trying to attack 24 position, but we do see Snack is not going to be too happy with himself losing that position, so he might try to go again, but it does seem like it's going to be William Talbot making a bit of a mistake there going into turn 4. Chaz Corsa now Purple Snack to go all over the rear end of his Mercedes going into turn 5, again making a tiny bit of a mistake there. I'm starting to think that's been caught off guard a bit. That's going to be Kevin. They're going in the inside line. It's going to be a pit move there, and that is going to be Kevin, unfortunately, being pit maneuvered by the McLaren of Purple Snack, and that is going to be him losing a lot of time, and probably a lot of tyre heat is being produced due to the friction there between him and the track. And unfortunately, that might be a bit of a trek now for Kevin to try and continue. As well as that, we do see it's still going to be these two fighting with each other, as well as we do see now William Talbot in the outside line going into turn 9. There was almost a tiny bit of an outside, a bit of a move there made by him going into the outside line of turn 9. Does seem that William Talbot still able to maintain his position of P13. Swinny back in P14, and Swinny getting what is going to, that was excessive. That was really strict. We did see how that penalty just was created, but it does seem how strict they were actually going into each other. As we do see Mills SP getting a tiny bit of a loose moment there going into turn 1. Is going to now cause Swinny to be all over the rear of him for position. Tries to go for the inside line there into turn 4. Didn't work. It's going to be a tiny bit of an oversteer moment as well. Stays behind for the time being. It does seem Jack Jones was able to get by, though, the Aston Martin of Bids. I'm not sure when that did happen. Does seem he's actually struggling quite a bit there, Bids. Just see him going through turn 3. Was trying to struggle to keep that car in a straight line. Always looked like the rear end was trying to spin out as well. Now, because of that, Brandt is going to be all over the rear of Bids, and we're going to have the same leap that we saw with 3 cars further down the field. It's now because they were battling so much, it's actually going to cause a bit of a reward here for Jack Jones for getting past, because now Bids is going to be under a lot more pressure from the car behind of the Haas Brand to try and maintain his position at P2 at least, and that is going to cause Jack Jones to already be able to create quite a bit of a gap for himself. But does seem there was a bit of a mistake there from Brand, which was about an 8/10 gap increase, which is actually quite significant if you think about it. Criplex unfortunately getting a 3-second time penalty, but we do see now, because of those little micro battle, you could say, they had Bids and Brandt, that is going to cause Jack Jones to gain a 1.2 second advantage between P1 and P2, which is actually quite significant, as we did see their Sausage Joe going into the pits in this lap, and it does seem he is going to be quite a high advantage now compared to the rest of the field, who are on significantly higher tyre wear compared to the rest of the grid. In front of him now being Finn in the Alfa Romeo, 14 lap old wet compared to now Sausage Show and 0 lap old wet. You see going into turn 8 how much more he can break there going into it, and it is going to be a ton of it contact there. Needs to be very, very careful of this front wing, because how delicate and fragile they actually are. Looked like he tried to look for a move there going into turn 10. It's not going to work for him just yet. We are back. It does seem now when it was gone, so I was just having to get the door downstairs. There's going to be a side-by-side now, but that is going to be now what is Swinny losing that position. Not sure how that happened and why it happened. Is going to be him going up into P14. That Swinny just sweeping out of the way on the back straight. It does seem he's actually struggling with tyres now. We will start seeing the first of pit stops coming in now. I'm not sure when they will be going in, but it definitely will be quite soon because his tyres are starting to get quite ancient, like the rest of the field as well. Kevin all over the back of him, so this is going to be a fight between teammates here of the AlphaTauris. William Talbot getting a 3-second time penalty, unfortunately there for him. Banjo, welcome in chat, buddy. Whoa, Kevin with a humongous dive bomb there going into turn 4. There's a big contact between them both, almost a pit move in there, but it does seem Kevin was able to hold his car in the straight line, and now they still go side by side going into turn 5. It's going to be the advantage of Kevin once again being able to have that inside line. Does seem Kevin is able to get past Swinny once and for all. It does seem Swinny's actually struggling quite a bit there to keep his car in a straight line. How's it going, Mafandro? I did see you retired there. I'm not sure what happened to you. I assume you got a time penalty when you came out of pits, but correct me if I'm wrong. It does seem this race could potentially be quite a boring race to say the least, because it does seem we have lost all of the battle shares. This is just because it is still raining at quite a heavy rate, as well as not being able to dry up and potentially give each other DRS, but that won't be happening, it seems, at least for the next 10 or so laps. But I hope it does dry up. We'll make better racing, but at the moment it doesn't seem that will be the case. But the current only battle on track, or the closest, well, is going to be Josh Rose and Bids 4P3 here. They just hear Josh Rose brakes, almost giving up there. Almost locking up quite a bit. I was like, I'm trying to look as well outside my window because I'm supposed to be able to see the Northern Lights tonight. So I am very, very intrigued if I will be able to see them tonight. It's still currently, as I'm now going Weatherman Alex, but it is still currently dusky time, so there is still too much light. Unless there is the Northern Lights, but it doesn't seem to be, as we have just lost the sunlight. So I'm assuming that is just dusk setting, but we do see that's going to be Brand going into the pits. I'm definitely hoping I can see these Northern Lights tonight, because I missed it yesterday. I can see them, so hopefully tonight I can have a proper glimpse of them in the garden. pit window open out till lap 22 to 46. We're getting ever so closer to the halfway mark of this race. It is I, Ricky. It is me, but it has been quite a uneventful race so far, I'll be honest. There hasn't been much going on, and I'm very, very intrigued if I can see the Northern Lights tonight, so I do keep poking my head out of my window. But Swinney retiring from the race, I'm assuming that is unfortunately going to be because of him being last. Hopefully that won't be the rest for the last race of the season next week, but that is going to be the 4th retirement of the race in a quarter of the race, which isn't great. This is one thing, I really don't like wet weather racing unless it goes from, well, it's a changed atmosphere, so it goes from, let's say, wet to dry throughout the race, because obviously that DRS is such a crucial asset in making the racing so close here. But it does seem a few people are pitting now, as we do see Spiky Cabbage has pitted, as well as now Cryplax going into the pits. But at the moment, it doesn't seem anyone else is. 2 people getting time penalties. Oh, 3 people now actually getting front time penalties. That's going to be bids with that 3-second time penalty for track limits, and that's going to be the same with William Talbot as well as Cryplex. As well as now we do see there is a caution in sector 1 and 2. I can't really see who actually that is. Mills in the pit now, but it does seem that yellow flag has been resolved. But going from the top of the bottom of the grid now, just seeing if there's anything going on. It does seem go on board with Brian here, who has a significant amount of overspeed now, going side by side with him, going on the start finish straight of Nick F1. Gets to move down pretty easily, even before turn 1. That's going to be him plopping himself back up into P3. If you're still there, Ricky, when do you start the rFactor 2 stuff? I know that is pretty soon, I believe. So it's now Jack Jones going down a position. That seems he's had a bit of a fluctuated race, to say the least. I'm not sure if he has paid for tyres. At the moment, it doesn't seem he has paid for tyres, so that is why he's going to be considerably lower than what he would usually be. We need to see Josh and Gandis going into the pit in the next coming laps or so, because 23-year-old wet tyres, it's quite an ancient tyre, to say the least, and this is why we'll see Bran and Jack Jones catch up quite significantly in the next few laps or so. Also now we do see that is going to be Nick F1 losing the position to bids as well. That is going to be an undercut, pretty much. Not even an undercut, that is just him being able to perform it on pace. Doesn't seem anyone's actually improving or actually getting a position done. Getting closer to halfway point now of this race. What is happening here, though? It does seem Brand's actually going to go side by side here with Jack Jones and Josh Rose. It's going to be a tiny bit of an issue between them both, but it does seem, yeah, Brand's still not being able to maintain it. Can he keep it, though? I'm not too sure at the moment. Does seem that that's going to be Don Thornton actually making a tiny bit of mistake there going into turn 3, allowing Gandis back with ease. between them both. There is a huge difference between tyre age, 2 laps to 27 laps, so 25 lap difference between them both. This mic is muted, I'm going to cry. So we did see what was actually, unfortunately, Brandt DNFing as well as Sausage Joe now being the highest scoring Haas as well as now we did see Kevin getting past Mills SP, 4th position. That's also going to be as well. Joshua is going side by side here with Sausage Joe, 4th position as well. Now the Haas getting knocked out of the podium steps as well. Nick F1 going up into P4 as well. So it is starting to be a three-way battle now between these three. Starting to get a tiny bit unpredictable as we get to the halfway point of this race now. halfway left of this race to go. We do see that it's going to be Kevin going up into P11 now. Crabluck's retiring from the session. Not sure why. That's out of pits as well. That's going to be now practically nearly half of the grid out of today's races. There was a big moment there from Kevin. Getting closer now to the quarter, nearly the three-quarter stage of this race. I must say there hasn't been too much going on. In fact, down to 13 drivers now, unfortunately. As well as I still don't see any northern lights outside my house. I'm a bit annoyed, but hey ho. I'm just hoping that I might see them later. Oh my days. Doesn't seem to be such an eventful race, unfortunately, here tonight. Near 26 laps left to go. I'm still here. I apologize. I'm just kind of looking to find the Northern Lights. This is something I've been trying to find for ages now, and I'm just not sure if I'll be able to see them tonight. It's so irrelevant, I know, but it's just something very, very interesting to me. But we do see now as well, William Talbot, the only battle on track here. This is going to be 4P10. What would be F1 point shit now getting the slipstream is going to be side by side. William being able to get the overspeed into turn one. Doesn't seem he's going to be able to do it under speed, but he is underspeed, overspeed. But he's going to just completely cut the chicane to get it done. That was actually kind of risky, because there is absolutely no grip there. They're still going to make a tiny bit of contact there. They're going to be side by side once again into turn 3. Does seem Kevin was able to continue in his current position. Still, William Talbot still behind Kevin. Still not going to be close enough, though. He is just going to have to try sit back and try to find a new place to try and get past him. 4P10. Oh, there's going to actually be contact. Is that going to be a broken wing? Oh my days. He is so lucky to come out of that pretty much alive. He is going to unfortunately now have to take a lot of time to actually be able to try and cool down those tires at all. But that is going to now be him. Oh, actually getting even more friction into the tires. He is struggling a lot there, and this might be the end of his race as well. Or still being able to keep it in a straight line, but it is not working well for him at all. Potentially could be his end of his race now. Well, I'm not sure what's just happened. For God's sake. Alright, I'm gonna have to quickly ask the people what's just happened. You won't be able to hear this because obviously it's their personal thing, but I will just quickly